Okay. So, yeah, as you guys can see, I have a little bit of a different setup this time. Hopefully it will turn out okay. As kind of compensation for both this video and the Zelda video being late, I think we're going to go ahead and do through chapter 10. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer one. And I'm also going to have to remember to mute my phone. The professional, dog. The professional. Alright. So, with that done, I would like to welcome everybody to what I am officially rebranding as Terabad Tuesday. Why am I calling it Terabad Tuesday, even though I'm releasing this video on Thursday? Well, in the coming weeks, I think you'll see exactly why. But until then, let's listen to me read some more Sonic High School. Sonic did like in the first chapter and went to school again. Now it's lunchtime, and Sonic was in the lunchroom. Sonic was telling all of the people at his table, who were Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, Espio, and Charmy Bee, about what did happen yesterday. But Tails already knew, so he was nodding his head like a good friend.
"You should have seen it,"
said Sonic.
"I was in the haunted house and I shot Eggman, but I let him get away right before I could have
Killed him."
Sonic laughed and
hey, just as professional as always. Sonic laughed and Tails laughed at the same time. Knuckles said, you should stop going on these cool adventures because high school is more important," said Knuckles, and Sonic knew he was right, because it's called Sonic High School, and it should be more about the high school part. So Sonic asked them all what they're up to.
"Well, I am entering the space competition,"
said Tails.
"To win the science competition, I have to come up with the best invention, and my invention is this invisibility hat. It makes you invisible, and I can't do it right now because I have to make sure it works perfect for the science competition. Gee, Scoob."
I had a different voice for Tails, but I'm stuck on the Scooby one from last time. Tails was so smart that Sonic knew he would win the science competition because Tails is like Einstein. "Nerd!" shouted Knuckles right into Tails' ear. What a bad guy. "I am just hanging out and not going to class because I want to cause trouble," said Knuckles. Knuckles was so bad that he would cause trouble. Sonic thought Knuckles was a fuck. Shadow was next, and he was badder. I'm still stuck on Sonic thought Knuckles was a fuck. Shadow was next, and he was better than Knuckles, but in a different way. I'm not going to be around much longer," said Knuckles. He always did, ... at the end of what he was saying because it was mysterious. Was that supposed to be Shadow? Yes, that was supposed to be Shadow. "Where are you going?" said Tails, because he was curious.
"I am going to kill my parents,"
said Shadow. See, this is how Shadow is worse than Knuckles. He did serious bad things. At the end of the day, Knuckles could sleep. Shadow was too dark for that. "I am going to try..." Oh, this is a different character, right? God. Espio's like a ninja, right? He's like a little chameleon ninja. Okay.
"I am going to try out for the football team,"
said Espio. Espio was athletic like Sonic, but not fast, but he had a horn on his nose that was good for attacking people in front of him, so Sonic thought he would be good at football.
"I am going to try out for the play,"
said Charmy Bee. Charmy Bee was loud and singing always. "You are an annoying fag, so you should do great," said Knuckles. Do not hurt my feelings, said Charmy. Charmy was used to being hectored, so he was able to remove himself from his potent fury. Did you see Rouge just now? She is looking so hot in her tiny bra. Espio obviously wanted to kiss her deep. You should ask her out. You should ask her out, said Sonic. But the prom was yesterday, said Espio. Well, that is okay. You can date anytime, said Sonic. Oh, said Espio. Well, then I am going to kiss and sex her tonight. Espio was Espio was like a little boy looking at his mom's boob for the first time. Sonic and Tails together were both looking at each other, and they wanted to help Espio. We're gonna help you get a date, said the best combination of a Sonic and Tails voice that the narrator could do at the same time simultaneously. And we're gonna do it right now. It just comes out as Skater Dude, said Sonic and Tails. Sonic and Tails got up and both grabbed one of Espio's arms and dragged him across the room. Sonic did most of the dragging because he is stronger, and put him right at Rouge. What is this about? Said Rouge with a questioning sound. She blinked her eyes quickly like a race car. The fuck? What do you want? Why are you here? Espio looked right into her eyes with a passion like 100 barking dogs and said, Rouge, will you go out with me? Espio was sweating, and there were drops of sweat hanging of his hands in front of her. I don't know, said Rouge, and looked at Espio. Rouge gave him a sexy look that made Espio feel in love. Please do it, brah, said Sonic and Tails together at the same time. Okay, we can go on a date tonight, said Rouge, sounding more and more like Lumpy Space Princess. Sonic and Tails and Espio were stoked and high-fived right there. By the time this night ended, one of them would have done their first sex. Now here's the hard part, said Espio. How do I put sex into her without getting in trouble? Sonic and Tails looked at each other and thought, uh-oh, but Espio walked out, while holding on to Rouge's boobies, because they were now boyfriend and girlfriend, and it's allowed to do it. This fucking story. Alright, cool. I can get the whole page on screen, minus the little part down here that's going to be covered up by my dude. I might have to scroll down a little bit, but... It was at the end of the day at school, and it was time that Sonic and Tails and Knuckles got back on the bus at the bus stop to board it all the way home from school. We are on the bus now, said Tails. No more classes. Tails was happy, but sad, because he is smart. Sonic and Tails sat down together, and Knuckles sat right in the middle of the aisle, like he usually did. Which he usually did not do, but sometimes did when not everyone was on the bus. It looked like Espio and Rouge were not on the bus, because they were busy getting ready to go sex tonight, now that they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Knuckles laid across the aisle, even more stretched out than when he sat... Oh my fucking Christ, that is a sentence. That is a hell of a sentence. Knuckles laid out across the aisle, even more stretched out, when he just sat across two seats, because now the limits were the Alpha and the Omega.
"How can we help Espio?"
said Sonic to Tails. Tails responded, "I don't know," and thought about it on the bus. The bus drove bumpy on the bumpful roads all the way home, and then they all got out at the bus stop that they were normally got in the bus at, just like always. Whew. Sonic ran out of the bus, and then Tails, and then Knuckles, in order.
"Time to go home,"
said Tails,
"we are almost there."
and they walked the rest of the way home. When they got home, it was dinner time, and Sonic was at a different home from Tails and Knuckles, because they were all in different families, so they didn't not live together, and Sonic's mom made dinner. Sonic's mom made Chinese food, and Sonic ate it, and at the end there was a fortune cookie, and Sonic broke it open and ate the cookie part, and kept the paper that was inside that held a magical fortune in it. Sonic looked at the fortune and read it to himself inside of his head.
The path to glory begins at the base of your friend's penis,"
said Sonic inside his head. Reading the fortune cookie paper, and he knew it was a good sign for what was about to happen tonight when Espio and Rouge went to sex. Then the phone ringed. Sonic ran to the phone and picked it up and said hello into it. It was Tails.
"I have an idea,"
said Tails on the phone to Sonic, who was listening but not speaking.
"I can give Espio my invisibility hat that for the science competition, and he can use it to do sex for Rouge."
Sonic smiled so wide, like the King of Fire, finding out that he had burned down New York City with only his fire powers. Sonic and Tails went to Espio's house later, which was not too easy to walk to normally for most people, but Sonic is super fast. Fucking Christ, this sentence. But Sonic is super fast, so he ran there and helped Tails get there too, seeing as Tails is not as fast as Sonic. They knocked on the house, and Espio came out of the door. "Here is my invisibility hat, so you can use to do Rouge for..." God, now I'm used to the bad shit, so I'm saying it even when it's not there.
"Here is my invisibility hat that you can use with Rouge tonight to make sex in. It makes it impossible to see and impossible to hear when you are wearing the hat, or when someone is wearing the hat wants you to also be impossible to see and impossible to hear," screamed Tails, whose voice was a little hoarse from ordering food with the lunch lady, whose hearing was lost in an earthquake in her childhood. Tails had to say things so loud, and she would say, "What?" And Tails wondered why she even had ears if she wasn't gonna use them. Espio grabbed the invisibility hat from Tails' hands and said, "Cool, thanks," and kept going, so Sonic and Tails left and wished him luck from far away at their own homes. Back at home, Sonic thought it would be good that Espio would get into sex with Rouge so that he could explain it to Sonic, and Sonic would know how to find Amy's sex spots even better, because otherwise he would have to read about it online, because all he knew about was kissing, which wasn't really sex, but was probably kind of the same thing, and Sonic just read about it online before talking about it anyway, and he... Oh, wow. And he would... Holy fuck. Okay, let me try to do this in one breath without doing the narrator. Back at home, Sonic thought it would be good that Espio would get into sex with Rouge, that he would get into sex... Back at home, Sonic thought it would be good to get... That... Fucking Christ, this sentence is insane.
Back at home, Sonic thought it would be good that Espio would get into sex with Rouge so that he could explain it to Sonic, and Sonic would know how to find Amy's sex bots even better, because otherwise he would have to read about it online, because all he knew about was kissing, which wasn't really sex. God, this is not possible to do in one breath. Holy fuck. He would know the right words for things, is I think is where I left off. So, listen to my throat noises. Whew, alright. Sonic sat on his chair that was in front of his Sonic computer and opened up Sonic Instant Messenger and messaged Amy, who was doing the same thing, but at her home, and said, "Hey Amy, I want to finally become true boyfriend and girlfriend after reaching sex this weekend." I did Tails' voice for that on accident. This story breaks me. Alright. Sonic waited for a long time at his computer, and it seemed like Amy was not there because she did not respond to anything. Sonic played games online and beat all the final bosses because he was like an alien sent to Earth to destroy records set by others. Then, Amy finally responded. What Amy said was, "No way!" Accidentally. Oh, fucking God, this story's gonna break me. Sonic was so shocked, his brain must have felt like a total idiot. Sonic High School, Chapter 6. Espio walked into Rouge's house because it was time for their date together, and all Espio could think about was that they were about to make sex for the first time. Espio looked at the computer and read about what to do, and what the right words were, so he would know how it works, and how to say it right, and so no one would make fun of him. It was Rouge's house he was at now, and it was in front of him. Espio knocked Rouge's house door. "I hope she is home," said Espio, and she was. She opened the door just then. "Hello, I'm home," said Rouge, looking always sexy in her tiny baby bra and big cool boobs. Espio thought she... Why did I just start... Espio thought she looked like the hottest woman in the world that he could see from here. "Where are you taking me on our date tonight?" whispered Rouge in a sex-filled voice. Espio thought this one over on the way over, so that he could say it right the first time, and get her to do what he wanted to. That's sex. "Well," said Espio, "just let me put on this science hat, and we will begin sex." Rogue? No, oh wait, no, it actually is Rouge. Oh, did I miss all the times where it was Rogue? I'm sorry. Alright. Rouge looked shocked, but she was probably excited too. Espio could tell because they both had an erection. "What?" said Rouge in a shocked way. Now I'm doing it to myself. "What?" said Rouge in a shocked way. "Right here?" Espio said, "Yes, this hat was made by Tails specifically for our date. It makes it impossible to see and impossible to hear while I am wearing it." Espio did a cool face at her, because being smart can be too cool too, as long as you're not a nerd ass. Rouge said, "Okay, let's go inside," and gently grabbed Espio's hand, but he pulled it back, and she fell, causing him to fall, and they both together fell onto the grass, where they rolled around in it until they were about in the middle of Rouge's house front lawn, so there was plenty of room around them for activities. No, said SBO. No, said SBO. I want to make sex in you right here. And SBO put on the invisibility hat so nobody could see or hear them. I think that's actually the first time that this author has actually correctly said nobody could see or hear them instead of it makes it impossible to see or hear. And a whole new world of possibilities were open to them so they could do sex in whatever way they wanted, and it was time to start sex right now. SBO revealed his penis to Rouge, who looked at it. Rouge said, "Cool," and took out her vagina. SBO SBO's penis was really big from looking at Rouge, like when he is in church and it's so boring, but you just get a boner anyway. Rouge's vagina looked like a surprised ghost. SBO's penis approached Rose like a plane flying down at the airport, but instead of being full of businessmen, it was full of SBO's creamy Italian salad dressing. Here it comes, cried SBO, ramming his Mauve Avenger into Rouge's vagina spot. Rouge screamed sex noises, and SBO began messing around with her boobs and face like she was in the X-Men arcade game. SBO slapped his big, awesome penis from side to side in her vagina like a hot dog windshield wiper, and Rouge was ripping grass from the lawn. Then SBO used his tail to flip her over. He can do this. And put his penis into her butt. He moved his penis in circles in her butthole like he was building a golf course and digging out the back nine. Rouge was flapping her bat wings like an idiot, and not flying because SBO's was holding on to her ass cheeks and pressing into them with his fingers, and leaving marks that looked like it said, "Wow," when combined with the spot where her butthole is. You'll have to pardon me, I'm still getting over being sick, and this is making me laugh. And that is what she felt like, because SBO seemed to be a sex professional. SBO used his tail again to flip her over, and did all-star sex things, like using his penis like a rolling pin on her face, and plugging his penis into her belly button to see how far it would go, and making a balls hurricane, with swirling his balls and her balls. Fuck me. Finally, they both got so sexy that SBO's penis ejaculated, and semen came out of it, and landed on Rouge, who was lying there on the lawn. But nobody could see them, so it was okay. At that part, SBO screamed, "It's semen time!" And Rouge shouted, "Create a generation in me!" SBO ejaculated semen into her vagina, and that was what happened. Now that they were done doing sex, they put their penis and vagina and balls away, and SBO took off the invisibility hat, and it was like nothing ever happened, but they both knew it did because they were there for it. "Bye-bye," said SBO, and SBO walked off her property, and away to his house, where the rest of the... and did the rest of his things until school happened the next day. That is quite possibly my favorite chapter in this whole fucking shitty, stupid story. Oh my goodness. Alright. Moving along. Sorry if you guys can hear the mic rustling. I'm actually holding the mic a little bit closer to my face this time in the hopes that it will cause me to be a little bit louder. But we'll see. Alright. 3 more chapters. We had front sex, whispered SBO at the people at his lunch table. SBO was at school in the lunchroom, and also was Tails and Knuckles and Charmy Bee and Vector too. He was all 4 of those people, apparently. I ejaculated from my penis and into her body. Bet you haven't done that. They had not done that. Wow, cool. You are the coolest after Sonic, said Tails, who was right there, so he didn't have to shout. It was good not to shout, because this was supposed to be a secret. Tails did not hear the whole school talking about SBO's penis and balls like with Sonic in Chapter 1, but in a different way. Sex. Yeah, speaking of Sonic, where is that gay bag? Said Vector, who was the captain of the school's football team. Vector was good at this because he is big and strong and had sharp teeth under his mouth. Just kidding, said Vector's. Sonic is cool. I don't know, said Tails to Vector. Where Sonic was somewhere else, trying to find Amy, who was not at lunch. Sonic was knocking on Amy's door. Knock, knock, knocking on Amy's door at her house. Are you home? Said Sonic. Are you home? I haven't had to do the Sonic voice in a couple chapters. It's foreign almost. It was like Amy was not home because she was not opening the door. Sonic was worried about Amy because she was his only girlfriend, even if she denied his sex offer. So he ran into the door and barged it down like it was made of nothing. Sonic was now at Amy's house. Amy's house was really pink because that was Amy's color. Sonic looked around Amy's house for Amy, but Amy could not find anyone. So, is everything in Sonic's house blue because he's blue? Sonic finally went to Amy's bedroom and opened the door up. What Sonic saw next, what he did not expect. Oh my fucking. What Sonic saw next was what he did not expect. Amy was there tied up on the bed with a thing in her mouth so she couldn't talk. Ooh la la. Sonic did a scream and ran over to Amy, who was looking at his with tears in her eyes. She looked sad and starved, like African kids. Sonic united Amy, and she sat up and cried into Sonic's arms. It was awful, she said Amy. He came into my room and my God, I don't even remember what the Amy was. He came into my room in the evening and tied me up on this bed and messed up the things in my room. Amy was right. Her room looked messy. So get a maid, said Sonic, always thinking about a solution to problems and being a bit of a fuck himself. Who tied you up? Who was it? Be calm, Amy. Calm down and talk to me. I guess Sonic's Yamcha now. Sonic patted Amy on the back to help her. It was Shadow. I saw him outside his house next door with a machine gun and a sword going in his house to kill his mom. And he saw me. He knew I saw him, so he tied me up like a brigand. Amy said all of this. Sonic was shocked that Amy said this to him. He remembered now in the other part when Shadow said he was going to kill his mob. But no one thought about it more than once, because Shadow was always a bad guy. What they didn't realize was that Shadow was serious. Okay, was it him who said you would not have sex with me on Sonic Messenger? Said Sonic to Amy. Yes, I did not talk to you back then. Said Amy back to Sonic. So, how do you really feel about it? Asked Sonic, whose brain was now humming with sex ideas. I don't know. Shit. Said Amy, still all worked up. Give me a day. Right now, let's get things right. So Sonic and Amy went back to school where everyone else was besides them. Sonic and Amy saw Espio walking around between a lot of other people. Hey, there you are, said Espio to Sonic and Amy. I had sex with Rouge last night. Do not tell everyone, said Espio, because apparently telling everyone was his job. Oh, that's right, you did. I almost forgot, said Sonic. Hear that, Amy? And Amy was like, yup. You gotta tell me all about it later so I know what to do to Amy, said Sonic, who then turned around. Said Sonic and then turned around. Sonic heard a sound coming from down the hallway where someone else was coming. It was a really fat guy who looked so huge to him. The fat guy got closer and closer until they could see who it was, and it was Rouge. No, still Rouge. I know he misspells it sometimes, and I keep anticipating it and fucking it up. Wow, you are so fat now, said Espio. What's that about? Rouge looked mad and surprised at Espio. Well, you got me pregnant, said Rouge. Oh my god. I fucked that up too. Oh my god, thought Sonic to himself without saying it with voice. She is pregnancy fat. This means she will have a baby. Amy was smiling for real to Rouge. That's so not... I keep mixing up Amy and Rouge's voices now that I'm having to do them both at the same time. That's so nice. I hope you have a great baby, said Amy. Sonic tried to be a good boyfriend and said, Hope your baby is cool, and smiled. Espio looked more worried than everybody else. So, I am gonna be your baby's dad. Worried, said Espio, worried and excited both. You better believe it, fag boy, said a voice that sounded just like Shadow's. Chapter 8. Shadow, Sonic shouted, it was Shadow there. Surprised to see me, said Shadow. We know what you did to your mother, screamed Amy like a crazy man. It was... Shadow cut her off and did not let her finish saying the sentence. You did not see anything. I am Shadow, and I know how to commit crimes. You think I have not killed a person before? I have. Shadow crossed his arms and sneered at Amy, looking at her. But, I saw you, then Amy said. You saw nothing. I stopped you, Shadow said. It doesn't matter. You were on your way inside your house to kill your mom, said Amy. Amy shook around because she was all nervous, and her smaller than Rouge's but still good boobs wiggled a little, and Sonic thought it was cool to see, and he wanted to support her. I did not kill my mom. I was going into my house to protect her from Eggman, Shadow said. Ah, okay, said Sonic, and Sonic and Espio went into class because it started and they were still in the high school hallway. He was trying to ship my Ultra Chaos Emerald shards into space so he could collect them in his egg space station, said Shadow to Amy in an explaining way. We gotta do something about him. I understand you had a reason to tie me up, but do not kill your mother, responded Amy. I was only kidding because the other guys were all being too important about themselves. And I do not think that it is a good quality for high school students to be. High school students should be nice and caring and not talk about themselves but like they are the best, because that would make us all assholes, which isn't really what we should be trying to be. Shadow said that to Amy, and she understood that he was a good guy, and he had a reason for tying her up on a bed, even if he did have bad times when he was dark and did crimes in the cityscape. They both went to class in different directions, so the conversation ended. Later, after Sonic... fucking Christ. Later, after school, Sonic went on Sonic Messenger and talked to Espio. Hey Espio, how are you? Do you know what you're going to do for Rouge's baby? He said into the computer. Listen, Sonic, this is hard for me to say, said Espio into the computer. Oh, God, I gotta adjust my mic. Hold on. It's hard to hold this thing in one hand all the fucking time. Alright. Okay. Listen, Sonic, this is hard for me to say, said Espio into the computer, which went across the internet to Sonic. I want Rouge to get abortion. Sonic was upset because Rouge's baby would not survive it. In fact, Rouge's baby would die. There has to be another way, Espio, said Sonic into Sonic Messenger. But if you really want to do it, that's okay too, because it is your decision. Yeah, it's not a decision between two parents, Sonic. It's Espio's decision. Good, because I want you to help me. I am going to go to Rouge tomorrow at school and slip her the abortion pill in one of her meals. You will help me by distracting her from me, said Espio then. Okay, letter C, letter U then. You know what? I know how I'm pronouncing those. Okay, K-U then, said Sonic. The next day happened, and Sonic was at lunch. I won the science competition, but you didn't come, Sonic, said Tails in a mad, sad way. I wanted you to come because I am such a good friend to you, but you did not. But I won anyway without you. Tails was mad at Sonic because... Oh my god. Holy fuck. Tails was mad at Sonic, which did not usually happen because they were the best friends. Wow, sorry Tails, I was so busy I did not know, said Sonic, trying to make Tails happy again. Kiss my ass, Dick, screamed Tails to Sonic and flew out of the room with his flying tails. This is awful, said Sonic. He is my best friend. Sonic knew this was a big problem, but changed his mind to thinking about Rouge and Espio, and then went over to where Rouge was going to get the abortion pill from Espio. Vector was there too, which was weird because he was usually not. "Okay, Espio, are you ready?" said Sonic only to Espio. Espio shook his head yes. "Hey Rouge, how are you doing today? How is class? Do you have lots of homework? What are you eating for lunch? I'm not trying to distract you," said Sonic, trying to distract her from Rouge from Espio. God, said Sonic to Rouge, trying to distract her from Espio. See, this is the part where if I was doing this like for real, I would actually edit this out. But since this is going to be a stream soon, won't have that chance. Looks like Sonic did it perfectly because while he was asking these things, Espio put the abortion pill into Rouge's salad. Rouge ate salads because she is thin. I guess I eat fried chicken because I am fat. Rouge answered the questions, but no one was paying attention because they were now glad it was done. "Oh, uh-oh, what's this?" said Rouge, suddenly looking like a shocked woman. What is wrong?" asked Espio. He was worrying that Rouge found the abortion pill in her salad and was looking at it. "I think I am having my baby. Here it comes." Rouge said this before she could even eat the abortion pill, so everybody knew the baby was coming for real. "Oh no! Oh no!" said all of them together but Rouge. Rouge lied down on the ground, and they put a curtain around her so that no one could really see what was going on, because it was going to be gross. You hear that, every woman who's ever had a child? You're gross. They could see the baby start to come out of her butt, and it was crying a lot. Everyone wanted the baby to shut up already because they were just trying to have lunch, but now there was a baby coming out in the lunchroom at high school. Mrs. Lesson, who was also the school's nurse, said, "Get out of the way, kids. I am going..." I don't even remember what my Miss Lesson voice was. "Get out of my way, kids. I'm going to help this baby get out of Rouge. Babies are too weak to do this by themselves." Oh, that actually hurts. Mrs. Lesson went behind the curtain and helped pull the baby out of Rouge's butt, and it was still crying. Could you believe it? Rouge was exhausted from her baby, but Mrs. Lesson was not. Mrs. Lesson held the baby in her hands while it was still crying, and held it out to everyone. "Look at it," said Mrs. Lesson. Rouge's baby was red, and had long hair, and big, white fists. Oh, man. Alright. Last one. Like I said, we're stopping at 10, so... Chapter 9! God, stop being a fuck, Knuckles. Apparently Knuckles did a fuck. Ha-ha! Rouge's baby continued to do crying louder than a monster truck. Sonic looked at the baby really close. "Hey, Espio," said Sonic. "Aren't babies supposed to look like you? Rouge's baby doesn't look like you, but it looks like someone else I know." Sonic rubbed his chin and thought about what it was, and that it looked like. I fucked that up. "Yeah, Espio, Rouge's baby looks a lot like Knuckles," said Vector. "Cool, I'm gonna go tell him." Vector ran off like a crocodile would to find Knuckles and tell him that that was what he said. To tell him that what he said. God damn. Thank you, author, for breaking my mind. Rouge was still on the ground, looking all tired and sore. But Mrs. Lesson was rubbing her butt because it was hurting from the baby that came out of it when she gave birth to her baby. This dang baby was still crying. SBO looked worried about it. You guys are right. Why does not that baby look like me? SBO went over to Mrs. Lesson, who was holding the baby still, and looked at it closer and still could not see himself in the baby. This does not make any sense, said SBO to the baby. Just then, Vector came out of the door, and there was Knuckles, too, huffing and puffing and looking surprised. Knuckles went right to Rouge and looked at her baby. Wagoo, he said, making that sound when he saw the baby, Rouge's baby, that looked like him. The baby was still crying. What is wrong with you? Yelled Knuckles at Rouge. Why did you go and have a baby? Now I gotta be your dad. He kept yelling at her with the maddest feelings. Knuckles thought about his horoscope that he read this morning, and it said, your biggest fear will come true, so you better watch out, you better not die. Now he knew what it meant. It was about Rouge's baby, because Knuckles did not want this responsibility. It is harder than having a dog. Rouge was tired, and Rouge's baby was crying, but Rouge was crying and scared of Knuckles' volcano rage, and said, I'm sorry. It was supposed to be SBO's baby. I'm sorry it wasn't, because he would not treat me like this. But what Rouge said sent Knuckles into the next level of his anger. He turned even redder and looked at SBO. You tried to have a baby with her? Rouge is mine. You are not allowed. Knuckles charged at SBO, but Vector held him back. Sonic thought, Vector, why would you bring him here if you knew he is going to cause trouble? Because Sonic is now Shadow for some fucking reason. SBO said, What? I do not know. You are not boyfriend and girlfriend. SBO seemed scared, but still kind of calm. We are, but it was a secret. Now you have to pay. Knuckles kept trying to get at SBO, but Vector was holding him back, and thank goodness Vector was there, because he was the captain of the football team, and he could restrain him like a crocodile seatbelt that could also talk to you. Knuckles could not get to him, so he said, Tomorrow we will fight. I keep trying to do the fucking SBO voice for Knuckles. Tomorrow we will fight. Meet me in the hallway at the end of school and prepare for me to beat your ass, shit man. Knuckles stormed out of the lunchroom and went away. Rouge's baby stopped crying and said, No, come back. You don't have to fight SBO. But it was too late because Knuckles was so gone by then. Rouge patted her baby on the head and said, You should get your sleep. You should go to sleep and get your rest, baby. You are probably tired. So Rouge's baby went to sleep and was finally quiet. SBO tried his best to not look like a big tough guy. Tried his best to look like a big tough guy and not panic, but he was secretly scared and went back to doing what he was doing before this baby thing happened. So did Sonic too. The rest of the school and getting home from school happened. Sonic did not see Tails or Knuckles or any part of it. Tails was still mad at Sonic. Sonic took out his school phone on the way home and called his girlfriend, Amy. Hi, Amy. So, did you decide if you wanted to sex? Said Sonic. You know, said Amy, Sonic, I am just too stressed and nervous by everything that is going on at high school Things are so crazy. Damn, said Sonic, who hung up the phone and finished getting home. Sonic thought he would never be true boyfriend and girlfriend with Amy at this rate. It was almost like she had a second boyfriend that Sonic did not know about, and that was why Amy did not want sex from Sonic. Sonic had dinner and then thought about his friends. Espio and Knuckles were both his friends, but they were intending to fight. What could Sonic do? Sonic figured that they were still both his friends, but he would go visit Espio because he was not the one who said to fight, and Knuckles had spikes on his hands that would make it hard to beat him in a fight. Sonic went to Espio's house. Ding dong, said Espio's doorbell, and Sonic waited at the door. Espio showed up at the door and opened it. Hey, Sonic, thanks for coming, said Espio to Sonic. You gotta help me prepare for this fight. We can start by learning how to get rid of puncture wounds. I was trying not to look nervous around Knuckles, but actually, I was. Also, did you hear about Charmy Bee? Nope, I did not hear, said Sonic back to Espio. Knuckles kidnapped that little gay and is threatening to hurt him if I don't show up to fight him tomorrow. So I have to, especially now, because the gods will crush my soul even if Charmy Bee is an annoying idiot loser. So Espio then got back to Sonic, or said Espio then back to Sonic. Oh no, that's really bad, said Sonic. Sonic knew this now had to happen too, because his morals were probably the best ever. He did not know Knuckles would stoop to such a mean thing. Sonic and Espio then walked into Espio's house and up the stairs to Espio's bedroom. Our other friend is here too, said Espio just as he was opening the door to his bedroom. Espio finished opening the door, and there was Tails. He was standing in Espio's room. The moment Tails saw Sonic, his face turned into a salad of anger, the devil, and lava. All right, guys, that's gonna have to be it for me today. Let me know what you think. I'm still not exactly sure about all these voices I'm doing, especially since I keep mixing them up. But I'll stay the course for the moment until I get some feedback. So until then, I hope you guys are interested in what Terabad Tuesday has coming up soon. It's not going to be all fan fiction. We're going to have me to do fan fiction, and then we're going to have a couple other people. I'd really kind of like to do like a combination of bad fan fiction, bad movies, and just like bad shit in general. Like maybe even bad art. I'm not exactly an art connoisseur, but I do know some artists, so we might bring them on for that. At any rate, hope you guys have enjoyed it, and have a good one. Arrivederci, boys!